They love this picture in DR. How's everyone doing today? All right, so guests, soft rockers, and of course Team Bravo, congratulations. Let's all start by giving them a hand. Now I can tell that you're probably tired, excited, and hungry all at the same time. And 2 weeks goes by pretty quickly, huh? But trust me when I say, your journey doesn't stop here after graduation. This is where it begins. But make no mistake, the first several weeks that you're in any organization, any foundation, are always going to be vital to what you're building there. Whether that's kindergarten, high school, college, or a new job. The first several weeks are probably the most vital to what you're going to build there. So with that said, I want to share with you my experience in terms of my first several weeks at Soft Rock. Keep in mind, at this point in time, I basically started like any of you guys. I know, it's a ridiculous picture, right? I started with like any of you guys. I applied online, got called in for an interview. Interview went well, went home, and then did what pretty much anyone does when they're looking for a job. I waited patiently. At this point in my life, guys, I was in a pretty bad state. Financially, I was all over the place. I had been evicted from my apartment. I was unemployed for about 9 months. I moved in and out of a friend's house, my brother's house, and eventually ended back up with living with my parents, which was a little bit over an hour away. If you... Hi, yeah, wrong door. Yeah, we should lock that, huh?
That's my idea of the day.
If you ever get to a point in your life where you feel like you're absolutely worthless, like you feel like you're useless, like there's not a single person in this world that wants to speak to you, I encourage you to try missing a payment. I had no idea how many people wanted to speak to me until I missed a few payments. They call, they don't stop calling either. So, long story short, I got a call back in a couple of days later, went in for an interview, went through a few different processes. Long story short, I got the job. At this point in time, I was ecstatic beyond words could ever describe. Mainly because I love the company, I love the organization. You look around, you see smiling faces, and more than anything else, I just needed money. And that was really the biggest reason for my excitement. I had been unemployed for long enough, and I just wanted to pay some bills. So at this point in time, because of my high level of excitement, logic had completely sailed out the window. Okay, I was so excited, I just couldn't think straight. I was thinking about starting my first day and preparing and making a good impression. I wasn't thinking about anything that was going wrong. So logic is completely left my side. I go through my first day, I finish my shift. At the end of my shift, the excitement's starting to die down now. That surreal moment is starting to fade away, and logic starts to peek back at me. And I start to realize the issue that I have. The issue that I have is the same one that I've had for the previous 9 months. I was absolutely broke out of my mind. And so I'm in the parking lot at the end of my shift. I've got $20 to $25 in my pocket, don't remember exactly how much, and get to my car, which at the time was a little red soccer mom minivan, and I'm sitting in my car, and I'm just kind of staring in the rearview mirror, and I'm trying to figure things out. Now that logic has come back into place, math is starting to sink in a little bit as well, because I've got a quarter tank of gas, toll on the way to my parents is $3.50, which means $3.50 on the way back in the morning. That's $7 alone right there without any gas or food or anything else. And I just kind of sit there and I look in the rearview mirror and I say to myself, screw it, or a variation of screw it, but I'll let you guys come up with what you want there. So I get out of my van, I walk right down the road to McDonald's, I get a cheeseburger and a cup of water, and I sat there for about 3 hours. Literally just sat there and I read my script and just kind of thought about bunch of different things that come to your mind in a moment like that. Walk back to my car, pop the back open, lay my seats flat, get in, and I stay the night. And that was my first day. And I did this for 12 days straight. The hardest part for me was the second day. I woke up in the morning. I made sure I was the very first person in the building. We were in the building next door here. I ran upstairs. I was the first one in. Went to the restroom because I wanted to wash up because I smelled. It was hot that night. And I didn't think I smelled. It was bad, okay? So I washed up and I ran to my desk and I sat at my desk and I would not leave for anyone or anything. I would not move from my desk. Anyone know why? Exactly. I was wearing the same clothes and I didn't want anyone to notice. I was, at the time, utterly embarrassed at the situation. But I sat there at my desk. During the day, I made a couple phone calls. I had a friend that was coming from the other side of town, so he was bringing me clothes, and he went to my parents to pick them up. I told my parents that I was staying with a friend here in Orlando. At the time, my parents were in a pretty bad financial state, and I didn't want to burden them with my own problems. Pride is a ridiculous thing sometimes, right? So that's a little bit about my first couple days. I did this for 12 days straight. The weekend came by. At the time, we were open 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Saturday. 2 p.m. Saturday to 9 a.m. Monday was probably the hardest time because I had nothing to do. I spent a lot of time at Walmart right down the road. I walked around, memorized prices, memorized locations of items, spent a lot of time in the gaming sections, looked for people that were lost to help them and point them in the right direction. Basically, kept myself busy. 12 days later, got my first paycheck. It was a Friday. At the end of the day, cashed my paycheck. Unbelievable feeling. Got some gas. Went to McDonald's, picked up a number one with fries. Felt like a big dog. And I got to my parents' house and I went to sleep. I was exhausted out of my mind. So that was a little bit about my first 12 days here. A couple weeks after that, I got another paycheck. A couple weeks after that, I got another one. And the paychecks got bigger and bigger. Eventually, I got to the point where I settled a little bit. Since that time, professionally, I've gone from specialist to trainer to a work-at-home manager to a director and eventually to a VP. Personally, I went from my soccer mom minivan to an apartment, to out of an apartment, bought my first home right down the road, got engaged, and about 3 weeks ago got married. Now, I don't look back on my struggles in any way as a negative thing. My father taught me a long time ago, you have no idea what a man is capable of doing until he has his back up against the wall. You have no idea what you're capable of accomplishing till you don't have a choice in the matter. So my foundation and my starting point at Soft Rock, those first 12 days, they allowed me to learn more about myself in 12 days than I probably learned about myself in the first 25 years in this world. And as I end, I'm just extremely excited. Hopefully you all get the chance to learn just as much about yourself here as well. Thank you.